Well, YouTube, I figured I would introduce you to one of my other cars that I have besides the 1970 Mercedes. Here we have a 1972 Lincoln Continental, all original. It's in the pastel lime green color, original paint, and original vinyl top, which they call the Cavalry Twill vinyl top. And it's not completely perfect. It does have a couple of dents, like on the back trunk area, which you can see. But this thing is actually so large, it's a little hard to get it in frame. And it's been in this in the local area of Hampton Roads its entire life. And I've owned it for about maybe, I guess, 7 or 8 years so far. And it's got the 460 cubic inch V8 engine with the 4-barrel carburetor, the Autolite 4300 carburetor, and C6 automatic transmission, and not the 9-inch rear end, but the 9 1/4 inch rear end. So I figured I would show it to you guys, and also do a cold start on it. It's been at least about 3 weeks since it's been run. I usually try to drive it to church on Sundays, but I think tomorrow we're supposed to get a whole bunch of snow, so I definitely don't want to do that. Here's what the inside looks like. Interior is all original. No rips or tears on the dashboard. As you can see, it's got a little bit of tearing on the seat right about here, but the actual leather itself is in beautiful condition. And one of the things I like about these older cars is the full gauge complement. A lot of the newer cars, even the fancy German cars, don't have a complete gauge set and an actual good old-fashioned oil pressure gauge. They just have the dummy lights. It's got the original Ford Philco AM/FM stereo radio, and does have a CB radio that the owner put in back when he got it. CB radio is from 1974, and that does work. And I decided to leave it in the car just to kind of keep the whole 70s thing going. I'm pretty much all about originality with these classic cars, but I just figured that try to keep it consistent with the era as well. A CB radio is not something I would have put in myself, but I figure since it's already there, why not go ahead and leave it in there. Kind of unusual to most cars is this speedometer right here. It actually has a wheel that goes all the way across, that rotates. Kind of looks like a barbershop pole wheel, and as it rotates, it has a little red stripe on there that goes along and indicates your speed. And the top of the dashboard is in excellent condition, no cracks whatsoever. So, same thing can be said about the headliner. I don't know how well you guys can see this. It's very, very close to the camera. But overall, I'm very impressed with the condition of the car. It's very, very good. Back seat is just the same. Look how massive these doors are. It's even hard to get them in the frame of the camera. They're so massive. This car weighs 5,100 pounds. So it's that makes it heavier than some SUVs that are out there. And I had the front seats almost all the way back, and I can sit back here, and I got plenty of leg room. Yeah, I got leg room to spare. This thing is so large. And back seat is in just as good a shape as the front seats are. The only thing that is missing is the one floor mat, the one original floor mat on the right passenger rear side. It does exist on the driver's side. Original Lincoln floor mats from 1972. I've also got them up front as well. So if I can get the hood open, I'll show you guys what the motor looks like. Kind of hard to do with one hand. So here we have the original 460 cubic inch or 7.5 liter V8 engine. It's a very, very smooth running engine. I don't know how well you can see that. It's kind of obscured by the power steering hose. Kind of hard to see, and it's dark in the engine compartment. Very easy to work on. You can see how far away the engine is from the firewall, so you've got plenty of room to do what you need to do. All the belts are readily accessible, and one of the important things about the car that I try to do is keep it all original. I've even got one of the antique restoration car batteries. So this is actually a battery in a hard rubber case made just like they were in the early 70s. It's not really a plastic cover on a modern battery. It's a genuine battery that's shipped dry, and you fill it full of acid just like you do back in the old days, and go ahead and put it in service. I really haven't had to do a whole lot with the vehicle. I've changed the spark plugs, wires, cap, rotor, points, and condenser, and basically rebuilt the carburetor and flushed all the fluids, every single fluid: power steering, engine oil, coolant, transmission, rear end, and brake fluid as well too. And that's basically it. The car was so well maintained, that's all I needed to do. As I said before, I like to keep things original, so if anything actually fails, I'll rebuild a part, just like this alternator. It's the original 1972 alternator that failed on me. So rather than going and buying another alternator, I went ahead and rebuilt it myself. New front and rear bearings, new brushes, cleaned it up, and that's basically it. So let me go ahead and get this thing running, do a little cold start for you guys, and see how she runs. It shouldn't be, it's pretty warm out here. It's about maybe 55 degrees, so not expecting anything terribly eventful. But of course I said the same thing about that Mercedes last week when I made the video about that, and the ignition lock cylinder froze up on me, so we'll see what happens here. This was a carbureted car, so and the Mercedes last week is actually fuel injected. So with a carbureted car, you've got to give it a little bit of fuel before you go ahead and start it, unlike a fuel injected car where you can just go ahead and turn the key and go. So what I like to do is I'll just give it about 3 pumps all the way to this floor, fairly slowly, because I don't want to abuse the accelerator pump or flood the engine. You shouldn't need a whole lot of pumps. And just like last time, I'll keep my eye on that oil pressure gauge. See how long it takes that to rise. And here we go. I'll give it one more pump, and we'll try again. Almost. Alright, she's running. Alternator's charging, and a very rare sight that you'll see is a full tank of gas on one of these large cars. That doesn't really last very long. It might even move during the video. Oil pressure's slowly coming back up, and it's kind of a not a totally accurate indication, because the way these gauges work is they work by heat. They have a little strip of wire in them that gets hot, and it takes a while for the gauge to come up to full. So the oil pressure is actually coming up a lot faster than the gauge indicates. And a lot of times that's because, for example, like when you're taking a turn, for example, you don't want your fuel gauge sloshing back and forth between E and F just when you take a turn, so you do want there to be some kind of delay. And running kind of rough now, kind of shaking. I don't know if you can tell just by the video, but these old cars tend to do that because the fuel is actually condensing around the intake manifold, and the car wants to run lean actually when it's this cold. And so what happens is there's a choke on the carburetor that makes your mixture a little bit richer. Yeah, you can see the hood moving maybe. It takes about maybe 2 or 3 minutes for it to warm up to speed and everything. I'm not sure if I can take my foot off the gas before it'll stall. Yeah, maybe I can. Get lucky here. Running very slowly, but that's actually a testament to how good a shape the engine is in, because it's hard on a motor to start it up cold like that and be able to immediately get out and not have to have your foot on the gas for a long period of time. And it's not blowing any smoke. You can tell on the ground where I usually try to warm this thing up when I drive it. It's kind of burned, but the engine's in excellent condition. No smoke, and fuel mixture's just right. And no work done on the motor at all. The only thing I did is the plugs, points, and condensers, spark plug wires, and I think I forgot to mention the valve cover gaskets because I had a slight leak around there, but no work on the motor either, all original. Got some squeaky belts because it was in the garage, and there's probably a little bit of condensation on there, but that'll clear up when it warms up. See if I can rev it up a little bit to help it warm up a little. I'm going to try to grab the cruise control chain and do that. Fan sound is kind of loud because, as I think you can see in the video, it does not have a clutch. It's a straight fan, mechanical fan, called a flex blade fan. So as the engine speed increases, the fan blades actually flex to reduce the air resistance. It's much more reliable. I don't know if you can watch the fan blades flex or not in the video, but it does flex. You can kind of see them move a little bit. So a couple of revs and it's actually come right on up to idle speed and everything, so she's ready to drive. So I just wanted to share this with you guys, and I'll make more videos about this car in the future. The unfortunate thing is I did a lot of work on the car before I had this video camera working. So I already did the brake job on it, front and rear, and did the tune-up and oil change, but rest assured all that stuff's going to have to be done again eventually, at least an oil change. So I'll try to get some videos of that too. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll make more videos of this car pretty soon. Well guys, I'm back. I just got through shooting a video of the cold start of this car just a few minutes ago, and I figured, you know what, I'll go ahead and do a driving video and show you guys how this thing runs and show you a little bit about this speedometer. Never done this before, never drove a car trying to hold a camera, so it's probably not the safest thing to do, but I'm out here in the country, and I am a country boy, so not too many cops out here, so I think I should be okay, as long as I don't end up careening into a ditch somewhere or something like that. So I'm going down my driveway here. Got the heat going. It's only about 55 degrees. It's not terribly cold, but cold enough, and I probably shouldn't be wearing shorts anyway. See that speedometer, it looks like a little barbershop sign. It's got a white drum in there with a red stripe on it. And you can see as I move faster and faster and faster, you can watch it go up. Which is nice. It's a endearing quality on the car. You know, a lot of the cars have the horizontal speedometers, just like this one, that have the needle that go left and right. But Lincoln decided to do something a little bit different, and I think they started that speedometer, maybe 1965, something like that, and they've used it for a number of years. I want to say up until maybe 1978, something like that. Of course, I got ditches on either side of me. Makes driving this thing a challenge. This car is almost as wide as the road I'm driving it on, but a very fun car to drive, even though it's as big as it is. Extremely smooth. And makes me feel safe. It outweighs a lot of the SUVs that are on the road as well too. Of course, it doesn't have the airbags, but pretty much you don't need those as long as the other guys got airbags. I like to joke around sometimes, you know, you get to work and you clean all the geometries off the grill like bugs. You could probably hit one of those little small cars and not even know the difference. I don't know how well this video is showing you guys, but this thing is just kind of floating along the road. I got a couple of S's to go through up here, and you'll see how easy this classic power steering is. Kind of a overboosted power steering, if you ask me, but you can kind of see just with one finger. I'm not getting that too well, but I think you guys get the idea. It's kind of hard to get a picture of the steering wheel at the same time you're trying to look at the road. But, and here's the speedometer again. I just think that's neat. I'm gonna have to take out that speedometer and recondition it. It's a little bit sticky in some spots, like around 50 to 60. That's where the guy that drove it before did most of his driving. I'm more like a 80 or 90 kind of guy, so I don't really get into the sticky area all that much, but all the same, I'm gonna have to recondition that, and I'm gonna try to get a video of that as well too. That's something I haven't done before, so that'll be a new experience for me as well as you guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and complete my drive to keep the juices going, and I'll talk to you guys later.